Whoa. Okay, sorry. I couldn't find. My camera won't come on. Hold on. There it is. Hello. Okay, y'all can't find the. Are y'all okay? So Shelby, I know you're on computer. Meg, if you're on your phone, you won't be able to find it. Do you guys have mod mode turned on? I'm trying to help my mods. Hold on, guys. Oh, Meg, you're on computer. Do you guys both have mod mode turned on? I don't know what it would look like, unfortunately. How is everybody while I figure this out? How is everybody? I've been gone for a few days. I had a lot going on. It's been a mess, but I'm back and we're playing Minecraft again and I'm excited. Okay. Can one of you send me a picture of what you're looking at, please? Sorry, everybody. I'm trying to get my mods up to speed here. Hey, Bio. You. Me. You got it? Can you tell Shelby how to do it? How are you, Bio? Hopefully fantastic. Hopefully you are absolutely baller. I'll text Pog. Absolutely poggers. I need to pick my stream deck up. I am ill prepared. And that's okay. Oh, I actually need to turn my fan on. It's very hot. Okay, hold on. Stay there, Bobby. When you're not going outside here, we go after stream. Bio, if you want to like text me like after stream, I can try and help you out if you want. What was that poll? Why are you making a prediction? Oh, I just knocked something over. Okay. My nose itches, I'm sorry. Right on. Well, what? GG for what? I knocked the whole house. No, I just knocked a cup over. I forgot it was behind my laptop. So I opened my laptop so I can see and it just... It fell. It fell. Okay. I'm just prepping Minecraft. So we are doing hardcore again today, and I got a good feeling about today. I got a good feeling. I do not think I'm gonna mess it up again. No, thank you. You do this every time. Every time. Okay, so how is everybody? I don't know if I asked that before. Hopefully everybody's doing absolutely mad poggers. I'm glad you're good, Meg. I was just on the phone with my mods, actually. We were just playing Dead by Daylight. And, okay, quick question. Actually... Okay, that scared me. I have a question. Would you guys want... We can do a poll. One of my mods, if you guys could do this for me. Bio do be out for blood constantly. Do we want Dead by Daylight to have a set day of the week? So mods, if I could get like a yes or no poll for that, if DBD should have a set day like Minecraft and FNAF, because it's Minecraft Mondays and FNAF Friday. My name mean nothing to you people. What do you mean? What do you mean means nothing? It does. What is that supposed to mean? I'm toxic. Hi, Dixper. Oh, I think I have Dixper set to the wrong game. No, I need to have voice mod on. Oh, I can have more than one? Wow. You're not toxic, by the way. You're not toxic. Just... I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Somewhere. Oh my gosh. Every time I get on stream, I get all stuffy, and I don't understand. I wish I had answers. So, really quick, we're gonna go over all the fun stuff on my screen, because it's been a while. So, is it a poll or a prediction? No, a poll. Do a poll, not a prediction. Okay, so at the top left of my screen, where it says follower goal, we're at 98 of 100. So when we reach that 100 follower goal, I will do a cosplay stream, which is super exciting. And you guys get to pick. I have 2 to pick from right now. I will have more in the future, but that's what's going on there. At the top right is what we're saving for. So any donations that are made during the stream go towards making the stream better for you guys. And right now we're looking at a new monitor because we're having issues. And then down here underneath the chat that says bean time, that's our sub goal. So at 15 subscribers, I will take 1 of each flavor of Bean Boozled, and that's 10 different beans, and eat them all at the same time. So that's 10 beans for 15 subs. I'd rather not do that, but I will. Also, if you guys want me to eat a bean, it's in the shop for 3,000 mothballs. You guys can redeem it, and I'll eat a bean. It'll be a good time. They're actually right here next to me. I have them all. I think I have all the flavors. Hello, it's Emma. How are you, darling? Welcome to the stream. I don't know if I've seen you here before. If I have and I forgot, I am so sorry. But how are you? How are you doing today? Hopefully fantastic. And if not, watching me play Minecraft terribly should probably make things better, because I'm a terrible Minecraft player. Well, I'm not that bad, but I'm definitely not good. Like, it's up in the air. Your name looks familiar, but I have such a tiny brain. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. I'm glad you're good. I'm sorry, Emma. I'm so sorry. I'm just terrible. I'm just a terrible terrible person. I was reading something. I'm so sorry. Okay. So now that we've been established, we're just chilling. I think we can get into Minecraft. Oh, mods, did you guys get that poll and I missed it? Or are we still working on it? Because if we're still working on it, that's okay. And those of you who are just joining in, the poll is if we want... Do you guys want me to do it? I'll make the poll. Here, I got you. So the poll... Oh, wait. Oh, fuck. Oh, shoot. I just swore. I'm so sorry. Okay, so the poll is, should Dead by Daylight have its own day? Because Minecraft has its own day, and FNAF... I just closed the poll. Anyway, Minecraft and FNAF have their own days, so the question... Why does the poll say it ended? What? Did I miss it, or did I accidentally close it? I think I accidentally ended it. I accidentally ended it, I'm sorry! I'll do it again. I ended it on accident. Here, I'll fix it, I'll redo it. I'm so sorry. Oh god, sorry mods, after they worked so hard to get it working, I went and ended the poll. Should Dead by Daylight have a dedicated day of the week? Okay, take 2 of this poll. Because I accidentally deleted my poor mods poll. Okay, 5, start poll. There we go! My bad, mods. I'm so sorry. There's the poll. Do you guys want Dead by Daylight to have its own day? Because I love playing it. So I would not be upset if it had its own day. I'm just saying. I would not be upset. Alright, those of you who are not new here, I have to turn off the lo-fi beats before we start Minecraft because I have a tiny brain and it's very hard for me to multitask if there's a lot of sounds going on in my ears. So I just turned it off and I'm getting Minecraft booted up. We're gonna go ahead and get that. So my first, oh, that red. Oof. Okay, game. Alrighty guys, so my first custom games and I hunt followers is Amanda. Yeah, so if we do play Dead by Daylight and my mods are available, we can do custom games where mods and I circle out as killers and we play with viewers. I think it'll be really fun. My mod Squishy here has been playing Amanda and from the sounds of it having a good time. Okay, so Ghoul is a murderer IRL. Absolutely. What is the cheese? What's the cheese? Okay, so moment of silence for Lamp here. That was my first hardcore world. I played it for about 2.5 hours and then lost. Okay, so this is gonna be called Other Lamp. Other Lamp. And I am showing you all of this so y'all know I'm not trying to cheat. So, okay, game hardcore mode. Difficulty hard. No cheats are allowed, you guys. I'm not cheating. So, and mods, if you guys want to start a, well, I don't know if we should do, what do y'all think? Do y'all want to do predictions on if I'll survive a certain amount of days? Y'all just let me know in chat if you want a prediction on if I'll survive or not. Like, certain amount of days. If so, like, how many days do we want to, like, wager? Wager. Okay. No, what? Look at this where I spawned! Look at this! Look at this! Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? That's ice! That's ice over there! I've got like 3 trees! What am I supposed to do? Oh my... Y'all! This is so not cool. This is so not cool. And mods, if y'all want to go ahead and start a prediction for a couple of days, if I'll survive, go ahead. And we'll do Minecraft days, obviously. So this is day 1. I'm devastated. Of all the places to spawn in a hardcore world, I would love to spawn here in a regular world, like a survival world. I'd love that, because this could be really fun. But, like, I can't just live on this island of solitude. Because there's no food here. I'll literally die. Okay, guys, go ahead and check the prediction. It is on whether or not you think I'll survive for... How many days did y'all do? Excuse me. Ow. How many days? What are we betting? 5 days. That's a good one. Okay, guys, so go ahead and bet your points on whether or not you think I'll survive 5 Minecraft days. I think last game I lasted close to 10. I think I got close to 10 Minecraft days in the last one, which was cash money. That was really cool. Sorry, my nose itches. This is so tragic. I cannot believe this is happening. I cannot believe. Oh, and then, mods, if you guys could keep track of the days for me, because I have such a tiny brain, and I'm gonna... I have to swim, I guess. Because, how do you make a boat? Do you... I don't know. Where's the sun? It's going down. Why me? Why? I'm so sad. And then those of you who don't know Dixper, you'll see them in chat. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sad. Those of you who do not know what Dixper is, it is a way for you guys to screw up my stuff on stream and basically make my life harder. So, look at that squid. Look at him. Good boy. So, you guys can use Dixper. You get crates. Is it a boat or just... Is a boat just wood? I don't know how to make a boat, so I'm gonna make a crafting table to find out. Chat, if you know how to make a boat, please tell me. Okay, so it was determined that we should have Dead by Daylight as its own day. So I will go ahead and look into that and see what day I think would work best. I don't even have the recipe for a boat! Bruv. I need weapons. I need material. I've been abandoned by God himself. Y'all, I'm so upset. It's 5 wood blocks. Okay, let's see if it'll let me... Let's see if it'll let me do that even though I don't have the... Yes! Yes! Thank you! So the new season of Apex tomorrow. Oh! Really? I didn't know that. I'll have to start playing some more. I know we've talked about this. Oh my god! I didn't change the game. Hold on. It still says just chatting. What a loser. Minecraft. We're playing Minecraft today. That's it. GG. I did not die! Look, I'm still alive. Okay. I guess it's time to venture off. This is literally an ice biome. What am I supposed to do, though? Like, this is an ice biome. I don't... Y'all. I always just do creative. I know you do creative. Look at this. Okay, but this is actually really cool. How do you steer? Oh my god. This is so cool. And yes, Bio, I know, but it's more entertaining to watch me struggle than to play creative. How do I... Let me out! Oh, there we go. Okay. Me watching the auto subs. Oh no! Are they bad? Are the auto subs like really bad or something? I don't use auto subs. I am working on how to get my subtitles, you guys. I am so sorry I don't have them. I just have to figure out how to get them to turn on. What is this? There's a polar bear! What a... What do I do? Is that lava down there? Y'all. What the heck am I supposed to do? There's polar bears! Like, straight up polar bears. And the sun is going down. Where's my boat? Just took damage. Where's my boat? I'm gonna have to just swim around and find something. There's glow squids down there. That was pretty cool. What the actual hecky heck? Okay, trying to steer this is gonna break me. Y'all, eat what? The polar bear? Absolutely not. Okay, first off, I've never seen this type of biome before in a Minecraft game. I've only ever seen it in other people's videos. So, oh, is this? Yes! Regular land! Yes! I did it! I did it! Wait! No. Go this way. I did it! I found land! Oh! Oh, it's good. Oh gosh. How do I... This is my boat. What is in here? Certain death. Okay! We found real land, so hopefully we won't die immediately because I spawned on a tiny freaking island. Okay, I guess I can work with this. I think I can work with it. Can I break my boat and take it with me? Can I really? There we go. I was about to say, can I really not break this? That's kind of weird. I'm not gonna eat the polar bear. I'm not eating the polar bear. So if anybody's trying to tell me to eat the polar bear, I'm not doing it. I refuse. I need to find food. A bee! Oh, look at the bee. I love it. Let's see what I'm working with here. I'd love to find a village. Oh, I need to stay away from the goats. They'll kill me. Hello, Mr. Bee. Oh. Me being careless with my lives. Couldn't be. Die. Die, piggy. Let me up! I'm trying to kill this pig. Haha! Pork chop. I don't have a furnace though. I got so lucky in my first Minecraft world, you guys. Because I spawned in I spawned in a sand biome, which wasn't like that lucky, but like it wasn't that bad. I'm gonna try and come up here and maybe build a house or like a little shack. Here we go. I'm out of wood. Dang. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. Oh, I have a pickaxe. Duh. Here we go. Don't mind me. This is so bad. Y'all see nothing. Nothing. One day. We haven't even made it the whole day yet. Not even. This is so bad. I'm glad we're off to a great start. Okay. Let's make a sword. Let's make a pickaxe. Let's make an axe. We'll make a shovel. Okay. Okay. Oh, I need to make a furnace. So let's... This is so tragic. I'm so upset. Okay. Okay, let's make a furnace. I think it's just all the way around. Yeah. Furnace. And we'll just have to burn some wood, I guess. Because I need to eat. Let's just try to burn. Can I burn that? Yeah, I can. Oh, that burns really fast, though. Okay. Oh, actually, I don't know if I ever finished explaining Dixper. So in Dixper, you can get crates, and with those crates, you guys can mess with my game, like, live on stream. So it'll, like, give me a jump scare or something like that. It's fun. And I do have the Minecraft one currently equipped so that, you guys can screw with my Minecraft. It'll be fun. There we go. Alright. Oh, alright. No more light. Hopefully nothing spawns in here, otherwise this world will end very swiftly. How long are Minecraft nights? Does anybody know? I do not. I hear a goat. Or a sheep. One of those. One of those two. Hi, Dixper. Pretty long? Dang it. Gosh, dang it. Well, I guess I'll just mine here and get some good stuff. I'd love to find some coal. I can't see. I would love coal to make torches. I'd love that. Alrighty, guys. How is everyone doing in chat? Are we still vibing? Are we still having a good day? Because I am struggling. This is hard. Because I forget. First off, I spawn in the middle of nowhere. So right off the bat, not good. Right off the bat. Just a whole lot of not good. Trying to remember where the coal was. Because I don't remember. I do not remember. But yeah, right off the bat, I spawned in the middle of the ocean. Just smack dab in the middle. So that was not good. And then I spawned, the nearest biome was a freaking ice biome. So then I had that going against me because there's polar bears there, and polar bears will absolutely murk you and ruin your entire chances of... What's that TikTok audio? You are ruining my chances of getting a puppy. That is correct, shouty. That one, that's what they would do to you. They would ruin your chances, except I'm not getting a puppy, I'm just winning at Minecraft. That's all it is. I could not take on a polar bear. And also, do polar bears give you anything when you murk them? Like, do you get anything? Oh, wait, I can't stay awake for too long or the sky demons will get me. What are they called? They give you fur? Is there fur in this game? Or maybe more leather? Because rabbits give you leather. Maybe polar bear leather? I don't know. Is polar bear leather a thing? Sun? Nope, the moon is right overhead. That doesn't do me any good right now. Oh. I'm glad I'm just digging... There's a skeleton down there. I'm glad I'm just digging straight through my house. Because I don't know what else to do. I'm definitely not strong enough. I heard a zombie. What are those little flying boys called that, like, what appear when you haven't slept for 3 days? What are they called? Those, whatever they are. I'd rather not have to... I'd rather not have to fight one. Just, I hear a freaking zombie, y'all. Just personal preference, I'd rather not have to fight those little sky things. Huh? Hi. He had armor. Hello. What do I do? Sir, if you could kindly vacate the premises. I'm working here. I hate this. I got so lucky my first time. And of course this time around I'm being screwed over. I'm so sad, chat. What am I supposed to do? I guess mine until daytime. I bet this is the thrilling entertainment you guys signed up for. When you joined the eclipse, you thought, this is it. I just want to watch this girl mine for 10 minutes while she waits for the sun. The moon is gone, so maybe the sun will be coming up soon. The sun will come out tomorrow. I don't know the other words. That's all I know. Does anybody else know the words to that song? Because I absolutely do not know the words. So there's dirt there. Yeah, we need to get you a clock. Aren't those hard to make? Aren't clocks, like, like hard. Excuse you. Aren't they hard to make though? Like, aren't there? Don't you need like a lot of stuff? Or am I like tripping? Is it something else that's like really hard? Where's my crafting table? Oh, well, it's not even gonna show me because I don't. Just gold and redstone. Really? I didn't find any. No, I did find redstone. Why is my caps lock on? Hello? Oh, wait. wait. Okay. Sun? No, not yet. Back to mining. Okay. I actually found gold in my last world, and then I died at the hands of a cave zombie. Or they called it a husk. I don't know what that is. But it looked like a baby cave zombie. So, oh, my pickaxe. Dang it. Well, now I've got a bunch. I've got almost 3 stacks of cobblestone. I don't have any sticks. I need some stickies. Give me sticks. Sticks. Okay, so I'm gonna look for coal and coal. BRB, alrighty. So what do I need? Pickaxe. I'll make 2. It'd be cool if I could find some iron. I would love that. Sun? Oh, the sun's coming up! Yes! Oh, thank God. Oh, I thought this day would never come. Okay, guys, so that is a Here he comes. So that is one Minecraft day I have survived. Unless I die right here. Which would honestly be... Oh, hello, Skelly boy. Which would honestly be so devastating if I died right here. Oh, my computer just decided to nope out of here. Okay, bye. Hello. That zombie has full gold armor. Oh! I don't know if y'all saw what I saw. Oh my God. There was a creeper. Y'all. I can't. Okay. Take my stuff with me. I have an axe. Okay. I think I can... Heck no! Why aren't they dying? I thought they die in this... There was so much coal over there. Ugh. Okay. Okay. We're on our mission to... Is this back towards the ice? It is towards the ice, so we gotta go this way. We gotta go this way, towards the lava falls, which is... It's fine. Maybe we'll find something good. Okay, so there's creepers over there, so we're gonna ignore them. Okay, I see some more coal. I need some experience. Creepers don't die in the sun. Well, that's dumb. I think they should, but there's also a skelly bro, but he was in the shade of a tree. A skelly bro. Okay, so we're gonna swim over there and get some coal. Oh, look at these cool little fish. This water's kind of deep. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, so we're gonna get some coal and then see where we're at that point. Let's get some of this good stuff. I would love some iron. Minecraft gods, if you could manifest some iron for me, I would absolutely love that. Chat, let's manifest some iron for me. Just collectively, let's all manifest it into the world, the Minecraft world. Let's just get that going. Please. I need iron. I cannot survive off of just coal. And I need to find a village. I got so lucky. I was so spoiled on my first time. I found 2 villages. And a temple. What's it called? A desert temple. And then I died and ruined it all. So. This is why I can't have nice things, because I die and ruin them. I keep... There we go. I have to mine the block. There we go. This it? Okay. So now that I have plenty of coal... Minecraft? It is hard! Okay, anybody who says Minecraft is not a hard game, needs to play this. Needs to play this specific mode. Because now you're worried about dying. You have to worry, because if you die, it's all over. I feel like... It's all over. Like, there's no doing it over. You don't get your stuff. You don't get anything. You're dead. Like, that's the end of it. And that's terrifying. You can't just go around doing, you know, like, whatever, like I normally do. Like, those of you who play Minecraft with me know I tend to die a good bit. But in this... Anyway, in this, I can't... I cannot do dumb stuff like what I just did. I just jumped off of a cliff. Am I in the mountains? Is that what's happening? Why am I surrounded by water? Am I in the middle of an ocean? I better not be. How am I supposed to survive here? There's no sheep! I haven't seen a single sheep. Not one. I'm surrounded by the ocean. Welcome back, Meg. We missed you. So, what day is it? This is day 2. We're on day 2. Hello? Oh, a goat. I was like, what the heck? Okay. I guess we'll go over there. Ah! Oh, no. Oh, I played this game too dangerously, even though I'm saying I'm being... Why is there so much coal, bro? I need iron. I need iron. That is what I would love to have. People are going live left and right. I love that for them. If I am on an island in the middle of the ocean, I'm gonna lose it. Really and truly, I'm just gonna lose it. Okay, I can't mine all of this. I need to get going, because it's midday. So, Meg, in the most recent development, it does kind of look like I'm on an island in the middle of the ocean. Which is not very cash money. So this is literally where I landed, though. Oh, I don't know what to do. It really does look like I'm in an island. Maybe if I go... Oh, y'all, I can't. Okay, so this is all an ice biome. This is like the Arctic. Let's try over here. I need to find sheep so I can make a bed. Break that. Give me that. We're gonna break this. Take it with us. But I need to find sheep. So that's the goal. That is the goal. Will I find sheep? Hopefully. Hopefully I will. Because it looks like a whole lot of nothing right now. Literally. Literally a whole lot of nothing. That was a horrible idea. Okay. I need to find more animals to kill. They really said this is gonna be the hardest game mode ever. And then they did that. They definitely did that. There's no animals. Like, I saw some pigs back there, but that was back there. Give me animals! Oh my gosh. What am I gonna do? Things went so well for me the first time. I thought maybe they would go well this time as well. Maybe they would go well this time for me as well. Die. Oh. I didn't think I was gonna one-shot the chicken. I love these flowers. They're so pretty. Look at it! Oh! Okay, hi, mama. I'm leaving. I'm just looking at your baby. A sheep! Oh! More than one sheep! Die. Give me your wool. Thank you. Die. Oh, thank God. Some wool and some sheep meat. What is it called? Mutton? Sheep meat. I hate that. Okay. A cow! I'm coming to kill you, sir. Today is the day of reckoning. Die! Okay, now I've got... Oh, a chicken egg. Ooh, piece of candy. Okay. So, we've got food. I just gotta cook it, but that's okay. I don't need to eat just yet. Oh, piggies. I guess I'll kill some of you since you're here. Since you're readily available. Dead. Okay. Alright, so... I guess I need to... Oh, is that a jungle over there? We're gonna go to the jungle! Oh, is the sun... Ah! Oh, God. Ah, jeez. Okay. Alright. We're fine. We're coming up on the nighttime. But I should be able to craft a bed. I just want to get to a place where I can build a little house. I do like this open area. So maybe I'll build it here next to this jungle and this plains biome. I don't know if it's actually called a plains biome, so Minecraft experts don't come for me. I'm building a really quick little... Just a little something to keep me safe while I hopefully sleep. I thought that cow was a skeleton, and I did almost cry. I keep getting pushed, and I don't know by what. Okay. Okay. Alright. So this and this. Okay, so let's put this down here, this down here. Let's get this going. Okay, let's see. What was I trying to craft? Ah, shoot. I don't remember. Oh, a bed. Okay, let me craft it. Oh, yes. Thank you. I had... It's raining! That's too funny. Okay. Okay. So, it's 2 days in my survival world. Get my sword out. This is a block of cobble. Okay. You like my house? Isn't it pretty? Let's see if I can put a door. I don't want... Why do they make you take 3 doors? I don't understand. Okay, well, we did it. We have a little house, and now we're at a jungle biome, and I wanted to come here because it... God dang, you can do it. I don't know about that, but I can certainly try. I'm trying to steer clear of that creeper by going this way. Oh, wait, I saw that you can use, like, bamboo as, like, fencing. Oh, shoot. I don't have any food. It's all back at the house. I'll go back to the house. Alright, 2 days. We've done 2 days. And it's been less than an hour, and it's been incredibly stressful. There's a lot of animals here, so I'm actually pretty happy about that. I can't cook leather. You can't. Alright, get some food in me. Okay, so next we're gonna cook. Okay. Let's make a chest. I have a chest. Put it right there. We'll build the house up in a little bit, but for now I just needed somewhere to stay. I needed somewhere to stay temporarily, so this is the house we're working with, alright? We're gonna make it work. Yes, we are. We're just going to... We're gonna make it work. Where did that creeper go? I'm not trying to fight him. Absolutely not trying to fight him. He's hanging with the cows. The cows are his buddies now, so I don't think I can kill any of those cows. But I am just gonna... Don't mind me, sir. I'm just walking. Don't... I think creepers should burn in the sun. I'm just gonna put that out there. I think they should burn in the sun. I think that would be fair. Oh, my mouse stopped working. Thank God. What would I do with a working mouse? I'd be unstoppable if I had a working mouse. But then they wouldn't be legends. Are you talking about the creepers? I don't want them to be legends. Okay, so do I need like an axe to chop this down, maybe? Oh, fall damage. I like this. It makes a really satisfying sound. Okay, let's actually, I want to test this. Can you walk through these? No, you can. So what I originally thought was incorrect. We're still gonna take some. Also because I want to hear it make the sounds again. It's a very pleasing sound. I will not apologize. I just gotta remember where my house is. It's over there. Because all my stuff's in there. My computer needs to stop turning itself off because I cannot read chat if it's off. There's a lot of bamboo here. Oh, is it dead? Nope, okay. Should I be looking away from my game? Probably not. Am I gonna do it anyway? Probably. Whoops. Whoops. Alright, let's see what we have here. Okay, so this is actually kind of terrible. This is actually not very good. Can I climb down this? Nope. I thought maybe you could climb it. Such is not the case. Oh my god. I'm always like, you gotta be careful playing hardcore world, and then I do that. I jump off of... I just realized that I'm right next to the cows. Where's the creeper? Hello? Where is he? Pandas? Oh, do they live there? Are there pandas there? I'll go back and look. I just don't know where the creeper was and I landed next to the cows. One shot. Actually, oh, I missed her. So there are pandas in there? Do they, like, that's where they live? I'll go look. Yeah, my mods had a Minecraft world with pandas, and now they're gone. I'm planting bamboo all around my house. I don't like that it doesn't plant in a straight line though. That kind of bothers me. Excuse you. I wasn't ready for you to do that yet. Okay. Chicken is taunting me. excuse you. Okay. I'll look for pandas. I'll look. Okay, so you're telling me if I build this up. Okay. I don't know. I saw somebody use these as like fences to like protect their house. So I kind of want to see if that actually works, you know? Oh, I'm out of bamboo. Whoops, because I know you can't walk through it, but if they're not public confusion. Did it really say that? Oh my god. That's too funny. It's very accurate though. I'm sure y'all are all confused as to what the heck is happening. Yeah, pandas was No. My auto subtitles knew what I was trying to say, and I wasn't trying to say pandas, I was trying to say public confusion. Melons! We're gonna go get those. Melon. Give me the melon. Yes. Okay, so we've got some food. We have melons. And we've got a bunch of animals nearby. So, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as I... Hey guys, Tommy Innett's live, in case anybody watches the DSMP. But he's not playing Minecraft, he's playing, spooky games. I keep running into this bamboo, it's honestly very frustrating. Okay, where's my house? Before I get lost. Eat something. Thank you for doing your job. One of my mods posted the Discord. We love getting new friends. We love hanging out. It's and she posted the Twitter. I haven't posted on my Twitter in a minute, but my Twitter's where I post all of my updates. Megan, she already posted the Discord. It's already there. It's too late. Oh, you're not paying attention? How dare you? My mods are very vigilant, in case that wasn't obvious. They're very good at what they do. And I love them. They really do, though. They do a lot for me, and I love it. No, I'm making my bed. Good for you! Good, honestly, good for you. I couldn't tell you the last time I made my bed. It's been a while. Okay, I actually don't like the way this looks, so we're just gonna chop it all down. Okay, so our next objective, I guess, should be... I'm kissing up. I guess our next objective should be find iron? What do we think? Do we think finding iron should be the next objective? How many times am I gonna skip over a block and not actually break it the whole way? Probably a bunch. People are blowing up my phone. Who are you kissing up to, Meg? Okay, guys, this is the end of day 2, if I'm not mistaken. Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry, I had to stretch. The sun is going down. Oh, well, that was really quick. You want Japanese, Meg? That's valid. Just gonna close this up. I thought you said you were already going. Hi, JB. How are you? We're playing Minecraft today. Okay, guys, so this is the end of day, what, 2 going into 3? Or is this 3 going into 4? What's the verdict? What's going on? All the better for being here. JB, you're the best. I love you. It's day 3. Okay, guys, we are on day 3 of our hardcore world. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what I need to do is build up my house and then start a mine, I believe. Because we're looking for iron. Day 3 hype! Yes, absolutely. I want to try something. I missed. Does that work on all animals, though? It only works if you get it right the first time. Okay, so we're gonna save some of these sheep. Okay, build up the house. That's what I said I was gonna do. Build up the house, then start a mine. Then start a mine. Okay, so... I need a slightly better place to live, because I'm gonna be here for a while. Okay, there's that. Okay, so I need to chop that. 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm still. Oh my god. Thank you for the hydrate. Oh god. Oh god. Hold on. I don't have a drink. Give me a sec. I'm going to get a drink. I'll run a quick ad break. I'll be right back. Okay. I'll be right back. Alrighty, we're back. Oh, my dog scared me. Okay. Thank you for the lurk, JB. Love and appreciate you so much. Y'all, JB is honestly one of the best people ever. Mods, can you guys give a shout out to JB, please? It's exclamation point. Actually, I hope y'all exclamation point SO and then her name. Pretty please, if you can, for me. If not, I can go ahead and take care of it. It is totally understandable. I understand. Thank you. Oh, you played Jackbox? Okay, mods, can I get another poll? Do we want to play Jackbox games at some point? Do we want me to get them? So I guess like okay, so one of my mods, pretty please start a poll for that. Do we want Jackbox games here for like community days? Okay, I know y'all are saying yes. Oh, I don't know what that was. I know y'all are saying yes. Do a poll. Make a poll for me. My mods are enthusiastic. I love them. Okay. I know a couple of people would be pretty happy if I did Jackbox games here on this channel. Jackbox question mark? Exactly. Ghoul understood the assignment. or was that Socks? Oh, I can't see who did it. That's okay. Oh, thank you for having the maybe category in there. I'm still learning. It's hard. I don't blame you. Modding, it's hard. And I appreciate you guys doing your best for me. It makes me very happy. I promise I'm looking for other mods. I am just a hot mess. I am gonna get other mods in here. So anybody in chat, if y'all are interested in being a mod, join the Discord and like DM me and we can talk. Because right now I still don't have an official application form yet. But if you guys are interested, just DM me or one of my mods, because I trust them to get in contact with me. So DM me or the mods, and we can definitely look into you guys. I'm out of cobblestone. I'm so sad. Okay. That's alright, we just break this wall down. Boop. Who needs a wall? Not me, that's for sure. Oh, and I guess we need to take the roof off too, because it's really low. Okay, so the plan for today is make the house better. And then start a mine for iron so we can progress the story a little bit. Yeah, sound good? I think that sounds like a pretty good plan. I kind of dig it. I dig the plan. Need to find sand. Oh, and y'all don't have to make the poles like super long every time. But I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Okay. Ah! I missed. I fired, I missed. I fired and missed again. I fired again and I missed. Is that what it is? I don't remember. I'm just gonna have a really long house. It won't be very deep. At least I don't think it's very deep. Oh, well, I cannot see. So it does not matter! That's okay. Alright. This and this. Alright. Alright. One day I'll do like a creative world stream. Ouch! That scared me. Oh, that hurt. That was painful. That was physically... Oh, it's playing... Hi, Rhoda! How are you? Oh, you're on a smoko again? Well, I appreciate you dropping by. It's been a minute. I've been busy and I haven't been streaming. I've just also been kind of sicky sick. But I missed you, Rhoda. And all my mods. Everyone say hi, Rhoda. Rhoda's been here for a good bit, actually. Oh, wait. Ha! I'm a genius. Sorry. Good. Just at work. How's the stream? It's going good. I'm playing Minecraft hardcore mode. So, it's a little sad your bot didn't tell me off today. If it was Nightbot, we've taken away Nightbot's privileges because Nightbot. Stop trying to piss off my bots. We took away Nightbot's privileges because Nightbot was silencing the wrong people. So Nightbot no longer has privileges in this chat. He was a jerk. And he would silence you guys for a really long time. Like, I don't even know. It was like a couple of minutes. Those of you who were silenced, how long did Nightbot silence you for? I don't remember. It was a couple of minutes though. I think like 10 minutes. I don't know. It was insane. Let's just get rid of all the bamboo and then we can go to bed. And then it'll be day 4. We're doing so good. Things are going great. They're great. I'm having a good time. Using 2 different pickaxes. Okay, so we have yes for Jackbox. I will look into Jackbox. And we can have community days where we play Jackbox. Because you guys can play on stream and you can be in certain games part of the audience. So everyone is still able to play. Just not like in like the main... excuse me, in like the main group of people. I just want to fill this in a little bit. How embarrassing for me. I have 2 left. 1, 2. Nighttime. Okay, so this is day 4 mods? Day 4 question mark? I hope that's right. Pretty sure. Okay, we're gonna make some torches. Some torches. Yes. Okay, now I have plenty of torches because I don't have any glass right now, so I can't put windows. So I need to keep it light in here. So day 4. Okay, guys, one more day. I gotta survive one more day, and then we pay out the prediction. One here and there. Perfect. Look at this beautiful house. It's beautiful. Okay, so finish the house today, and then start on the mine. Of course, there's no. Okay, there's some in there, but I really don't want to have to go in there because I'm gonna get lost. I'm gonna get lost in there, lost in the sauce. I'm scared I'm gonna get lost, you guys. Anything down here in this little dip in the ground? No. No. Okay. Alright, I'm just trying to get up high to see, like, what's around. I love how tools slowly rise up when you switch them. Oh my god. They're trying to be subtle about it. Let's see. I shouldn't have done that. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, over there. So my house is there, so we're gonna go over here because there's a bunch of cobblestone over here. And there's horses. I love horses. Let's just not fall in a hole, yeah? Let's not fall in a ravine. That'd be pretty good if I did not fall in any holes. Ooh. Hello. I almost fell. I did. Look at all these pretty ponies. Hello. Jump. We're not gonna go down in any of that yet. Not quite. I need armor first. So I guess we're gonna get more coal. And more cobblestone. Whose horse is that? Oh, I'm dying of hunger. Hungry! There we go. No longer hungry. Cobblestone to build my house. Oh, did anybody see... Did anybody see sand anywhere? Did I overlook it? Yeah, let me know in chat if I missed the sand, because I need some, because I'm gonna make windows. We're not speed running this, by the way. That's a lot of effort, and I have a tiny brain. By the river, maybe? Oh, that's a good point. Good point. Good point. My house is over there somewhere, okay. Let's climb up here and see what we're working with. I know I keep saying that, and we're not working with a lot. Oh, okay, there's some over there in case. Ask the horses. Oh, you right. Hey. Hey. Is there... Hold on. Hello. Is there any sand nearby? Oh. Okay. Sorry. You didn't want to help me out any. Oh my gosh. Oh, I have to make a TikTok today. Oh, if y'all didn't know, I have a TikTok. I don't... What a butt. Yeah, maybe he's busy. Maybe he's busy. I don't have a link for that yet. And it's really nothing yet, but if y'all want to follow it, do any of my mods know my TikTok off the top of their head? Because I do not. If not, it's okay, because I will look it up. And I'll make a command for it after stream today. I'll go look. Thank you, Queen. I need to get more, like, videos on it. It's the same. Is it underscore? No, because my TikTok isn't plural, Meg. My Twitch is moths, like, plural. But my TikTok I don't think is. And the reason my Twitch is plural is because somebody else has the singular moth, and it's very sad. I would have liked to have been the only moth, the only suicidal moth, but there's not much else I can do. You know what's really funny that I noticed? Like, 'cause, okay, so y'all know Twitch streamers will read. Yeah, so it's just suicidal moth, And that's it. There's no S, there's no spaces or anything. So if y'all want to follow my TikTok, it's there. There's not a lot there right now. I'm working on content. It just takes a lot out of me, and I just tiny brain. But it's there. So right now it's my Twitch updates, like from day one. You guys could see like one of my first streams. Well, sort of. My first stream was a hot mess. I've been doing this for like what, 4 months? 5 months now? I have no idea. I'll have to go look. Was I talking about something? I don't know. Excuse me, sir. Okay, I see somebody redeemed a pronoun check. My pronouns are she, they. Okay, so my mod Socks just put in the chat the link to my TikTok. You guys go click on it and let us know if it works. I use she, they, and my name is Moth. Like the bug. Like the buggy bug. Sand! Where's my shovel? There it is. And if you guys want to put your pronouns in chat, absolutely you are more than welcome to. What was that? I didn't like that noise. Anyway, if you guys would like... It didn't work. It's okay. Wait, that's an Enderman, right? Oh, shoot. If you guys would like to put your names and pronouns in the chat, I would love to know. Only if you're comfortable with it, obviously. If you're not comfortable with it, then don't do it. Like, don't do anything you're not comfortable with. That's my mod Meg. They use they, them pronouns. We love them. And I'm sorry if I've used the wrong pronouns today, Meg. I apologize. I love and appreciate you, babe. And I do say babe and queen a lot, so if anybody in chat, if that makes you guys uncomfortable, I will try to not refer to you guys as such. I mean it in like a gender neutral way, but I know some people, like, I don't know, they've had bad experiences, or, you know. Is there a tray? Ah! Oh my god. Wait! What? Hello. No! This man really do be trying to... What you got? Kelp. You can't... Where are the police? He's breaking and entering. What? This is literally my house, bro. But I'm pretty sure if you kill him, the llamas attack you. But I do want to kill him. Okay, can I get a poll? Should I kill the traitor? Mods, if you guys could make a poll for me, I'd love and appreciate you forever. And on whether or not we should kill this man for breaking and entering. Put him down for his sins. You don't just get to break into my house and just walk away, bro. That's not how this works. Yeah, one sec. Thank you. Okay, guys, my mods are gonna put up a poll on whether or not you think we should kill this man for breaking and entering. Because that's illegal. You can't do that. You can't just break in. You can't do that. I'm pretty sure that's, like, illegal. But I don't want to open the door and, like, accidentally let him go. So you're stuck here, bud. Unless my chat decides to kill you. Then you're dead. Then I'll kill you. And you'll be put out of your misery. It'll be fine. Okay, so actually I'm gonna sneak out. Okay. The sun's almost down, so... I have a little pond next to my house. Very nice. Okay, guys, poll is up. Should I kill the llama trader and take his things? Yes for vengeance or no for mercy. So far, we have 2 bloodthirsty moths in my chat. I'm pretty sure I know who those 2 are. Pretty I'm pretty positive. Yeah. I kind of want to kill him. Me personally. I'm the law in this town. I am the law in this town. Alrighty, guys, and I think we're going on day 5. So all I have to do is survive day 5. And then you guys get your points. Make an example of him. We found the bloodthirsty people who told me vengeance. That's not, it's just the mods. That's what it is. That's just them. We're gonna watch that. Where did my... Get out of here! We're gonna watch the sunset. I'm gonna wear my moth necklace to dinner. What?! What?! Is he invisible?! Wait. Did he just drink a potion of invisibility? What is happening? What is happening? Okay. What? Okay, well, the vote was yes for vengeance, so we're gonna kill him. Sorry, sir. You broke into my house. You don't just break into somebody's house and get away with it. Hopefully the llamas aren't coming for me, though. I didn't hit them. Oh. I peek my head out. Hello? Are we cool? I don't trust him. You can't choose the prediction result? Oh, it's because you guys voted. Did you guys see that? Hi. Hello. I'm gonna go. Oh my god, you guys. Oh, they're gonna kill me in my sleep. I'm not gonna kill them, Megan, because the last time I tried to fight llamas, they almost killed me. It was really embarrassing. Congrats to those who voted yes on whether or not I would survive 5 days in Minecraft. So far, we're doing pretty okay. I'm not as far along as I was in my other world, but that's because my other world I spawned near a village, so I was able to just... Is that lava over there? That'd be pretty... Is that a ruined portal? I heard a creeper. I mean, a skeleton. That sounds like an Enderman. What is happening? Dixper is on X Games mode, you guys. Dixper out here doing way more than they need to. I need to figure out how to have Dixper do that less. Okay, hold on. What? I hear a lot of noises, but I don't see where they're coming from. Like, do y'all hear the Enderman? What is this? What? Okay, we're all seeing this, right? What? What? What is this? What? this? Okay. Did y'all see pandas? I didn't see any. Okay, so there's a ruined portal here. And I got 34 iron. Okay, okay, we're gonna have to come back to this. Did you guys see pandas? Or are you just saying that they're in there? Because I'm gonna find them free gold. I know, I have to mine that. But like, Curse of Vanishing. I got Boots of Mending? What the heck? I've never seen that before. Can anybody verify if that was like a ruined portal? Because I know those are things. Like, I know that's a thing you can find. Oh my god. It was? That's so cool. Okay, so what did I get? Curse of Vanishing and Mending. That's so cool! Sorry, guys. I'm, like, in total shock that I found that. I don't like you, dude. Ah! Okay, so now we're gonna cook up some sand. Mending is OP? Really? Should I not use it? I'm gonna use it. The game gave it to me. The game gave it to me. I did not cheat. Everybody saw that I just walked up and there was a ruined nether portal there. I wonder if I can kill them through this wall. Come here. I'm not gonna. It uses XP to repair itself. What? That's incredible. Oh, heck yeah. Okay. I think the Minecraft gods felt bad for putting me in the middle of nowhere. Oh, wait. I wanted to make iron, because you need iron ingots. Okay. Okay, so I have 3 iron ingots, so that's a good start. So, how do make nether portal? How make nether portal with bucket? How do that? I don't know how to do it. Like, at all. I'm kind of glad. Look at this. Y'all. I'm balling. No idea. Okay. Well, maybe I'll Google it later. I do want to go back to that, though, because, like, it's a freaking nether portal. Why wouldn't I go back to it, you know? I thought I heard my sad music playing, this stuff. I thought I heard it playing. But I think it's just Minecraft. I feel like the world is changing around me, but I know it's not. I'm just... Okay. Where was that wall of cobble that I was working on? Hello? Minecraft music does put me in my feels. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. It's good music. Okay, is this the one with mending? Yeah, so this one is I wanna... What happens if I use this? What did it do? I don't know. I don't know what that did, but I don't want to use it a whole lot, so we're gonna hold on to that. What does vanishing do? I have no... They're guarding my house. They're planning something. They're planning something, and y'all are all witnesses. If I disappear, it was the llamas. And that's all I'm gonna say on that topic, because I feel like if I say more, they'll kill me. It will disappear when it gets low. Oh, that kind of sucks. That's okay, though. I can make it work. Okay, so... that's so crazy that this is in the middle of freaking... this biome. Like, on the edge of this biome, this ruined portal is just here. You need diamond to mine obsidian, correct? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Not what I meant to do. I'm just trying to get this gold without dying. Yeah, I mean. Where's my... I don't have any cobblestone. Oh, it's getting dark. Oh no. Oh no. Oh gosh. I wasn't keeping an eye on the time. There's some doggos here. Hi, doggos. I don't like the mob noises. I don't like the mob noise. I love the crying obsidian. It's so cool. Does it have any business being that cool? No. Is it though? Absolutely. Okay, we're running. I made it. Living life on the edge over here. Okay. Crying obsidian is super duper cool. Super duper pog. Sorry guys, people are like blowing up my phone. And I don't know what to do about it. I'm not in a Discord call. I'm not in that call anymore. Ah! Let me out. Okay. Where was that giant wall? Do we need another prediction? Oh, yeah. Mods, can you put up another prediction? Let's see, just another 5 days, I guess? Sorry. Might be. Yes, let's just do another 5 days. Not including today. Well, no, we can include it today, because it just started. So yeah, just another 5 days. And then you guys just... bet your points. What am I doing? I need to start a mine, but I need to find a place to do it. So that's over there. What's over here? This horses? Yeah, horses. Where was I at where I found that, like, wall of cobblestone? I don't understand. Where was it? This is not a big world. Well, it is. But, like... how did I... oh, it's over here. Yeah, it's over here. Okay. Whoops. I'm too careless, I think is something that needs to be said. I'm very careless when it comes to Minecraft. Okay. Jump. So we're gonna go... I don't want to start a mine over here, but I won't vote so I can... oh, you can vote, Shelb. I can end the prediction. Like, I can, as the streamer, so if you want to vote, absolutely. Oh, this is decreasing really quickly, though. You said it'll use XP to heal itself? I hope so, it's almost dead. It died! What the heck? No! Well, back to my stone pickaxe. I probably did something wrong, maybe? I don't know, but it's gone. That's okay. How did you let this happen? Oh my god. No, it's not. No! I didn't know you had to hold it. No! Oh no! dang it. The game was like, I pity this girl. Here is a really nice pickaxe and an axe. And I just looked at it and said, I'm gonna use this in all the wrong ways. This is such a bad idea. Nope. 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 I thought about it, and I decided against it. No, you didn't fail me. I've never had enchanted stuff before, so I just don't know how it works. So, that's okay. My boots are mending, though. So do I have to hold my boots to mend them? Is that... maybe? Yes, question mark? Tentative yes? Tentative yes? I'll try it once I get some wear and tear on these boots that were made for walking. These boots were made for walking. And that's just what they'll do. Singing. And get XP at the same time, like collect crops or trade with villagers. No one commenting on the prediction. That's okay. People don't have to vote, because maybe they want to hang on to their points for something. Like maybe they have a plan. Honestly, if Goblin comes in here one more time and just gives me a bean without saying anything, I think I'll sue. You voted no? You don't think I'll last another 5 days? What the heck? Okay, so guys, the goal is to make it to 10 days now. That is... I thought that llama was about to spit on me. Rude. Okay, so I need to make glass pane. Here we go. There we go. Now I have glass. Doop. I like having glass in my house. It's 100% for no. Meg has no faith in me. It's okay, I don't have faith in me either. Okay. That's okay. That's alright. You win some, you lose some. And there we go. Okay, that literally just sounds like a grown man with a cold. That is so nasty. I am gonna prove you wrong, Queen. Sorry, but you're gonna lose your points. How many points did you bet that I was gonna lose? Hopefully not a lot. Sticky stick. Should I make a... My computer went and turned itself off again. I'm just gonna make a cobblestone one because I don't want to use my iron yet because I only have 3 iron ingots. Sorry, chat. I can't quite see you right now. My computer turned off. This thing, I swear. There we go. 20. Oh, you bet 20 points. Okay, that's not too bad. You won't lose that much. How many points does everyone have? Because Meg's jump scared me twice now. So, you can't have that many left. How many points do you have, Megan? Hopefully nobody has a lot of points. Hopefully y'all are all lowballing. Hello, good sir. Nope. Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. 300. Okay. So, should I make the mine in my basement to start? Like, just to get stuff? Or... Can I help you? Sir? They sound like a man with a cold. Thank you for the stretch. I had to move my headset. Oh, God. Ugh. That was a good stretch, my God. I needed that, thank you. Wait, Meg, you just used all your points! Now Meg has no points. So now you just gotta lurk around and get some points, Meg. That's all you gotta do. I think you could get points for, like, rating and gifting subs and subbing and stuff like that. So if you guys want points, stick around for when we raid at the end of the stream. We raid almost at the end of every stream unless I'm, like, really sick or, like, something like that. Then we have it rated or something. Or I just couldn't find anybody. Because sometimes I just can't find anybody to raid. And that happens. Magma block. Isn't it if you step on that, you take damage? How many times is it going to take me to click on the freaking sand? And I have a fire charge, which is pretty poggers. I have a lead, so I can get a horsey horse. Meg is broke. F in the chat for Meg and her broke butt. Okay, we're gonna put the iron in there. What are we doing in here? We're gonna cook some chicken. Get this. How did that cobblestone get there? Hello? Hello? It's okay, I'm subbed, so I get You are subbed. I love my babes, my soft subbed moths. I love my follow moths too. So, guys, anybody who's out there, it is absolutely 100,000 million% not... The Enderman took this. Not required for you guys to sub or gift anything or anything like that, like biddies or anything like that. Absolutely not required. And if anybody tells you otherwise, I'm looking at you, bio. All moths are babes. Absolutely. I love moths. I think they're such cute little bugs. And they look so soft, but you can't touch them. Otherwise, you'll hurt their wings. And I just want to pet a moth. Except Ryan. Oh, he'll never see this. You'll never see this slander. I have to itch my ear. Hold on, homies. Hold on, babes. Would you guys want to see me do like an Uwu girl stream? Would that be something that y'all would be interested in? Like I have like pink hair and just like really, I don't know, really pink makeup. Absolutely. I don't know. I just been thinking about that because I'm definitely not an Ubu girl. Every now and then though, if you're lucky, you'll hear my Goober Goon. What a quality name! Thank you for the follow. Here's your complimentary air horn. Welcome to the stream and welcome to the eclipse. We are so happy to have you. How are you? From Rhoda. Thank you. We love Rhoda here. We stan Rhoda. How are you, Goober? I can't with the name. It's so good. It is such a good name. So my mods are plugging my Twitter and my Discord. If you're more than welcome to join either. If you don't feel like doing that, that's okay too. And guys, that puts us one follower closer to the cosplay stream. Mods, can we get a shout out for Rhoda Roller, please? They were just in chat. If you scroll up, you might be able to find their name. Rhoda, where the heck did you go? Mods, if you guys could just scroll up and look for Rhoda and give them a shout out for me, I would love and appreciate I can't find their name. It's there though. Rhoda was here. I said they have to leave now. That's okay, babe. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming. Alrighty. Thank you for the shout out for Rhoda. Thank you, thank you. Alright. Okay, so what was I doing? I was telling Goober how much I loved their name. That is such a good name. That is such a good quality name. I love that. But how are you? I think I already asked you that, but I think I may have missed your response. So how are you? I hope you're great. I'm Moth, by the way. That is me. I am Moth, the bug in charge of this Twitch account. You're good? I love that. I love when you guys are good. And if you're not having a good day, if you're not having a good day, that's okay too. Oh, we were talking about the Ubu Girl stream. If you guys are lucky, you'll hear me like do an Ubu. Like every now and then, like chat will tell me to do an Ubu and I'll do it. I don't know. I just personally don't think I could be an Ubu girl because I think I have a pretty deep voice for a girl. And it would just hurt to do such a high-pitched voice constantly. Like, you know, because they talk with their head voices. They're up there. So it's intense. E-girl time. That's what it's called. It's called a freaking e-girl. Well, is it called an e? No, because I thought e-girls and ubu girls were different. Are they not? My boyfriend calls me an e-girl. I don't think I'm an e-girl. I'm break at work, so I jump between people's stream. Well, thank you for coming by. I appreciate you choosing my stream out of all the streams out there, Goober. That makes me so incredibly happy. Because there are so many people out there. I hope you're having a good day at work. We love Goober. This is a Goober stan channel. We love Goober. Oh my god. But there are so many people live, so the fact that people come here to hang out with me is insane. Like, there are so many other people you guys could be watching, and you're like, nah, this girl right here, this weirdo, her. We're gonna watch her. And that makes me so heckin' happy, you guys. Like, you have no idea. Like, absolutely none. But I'm glad you're here. I hope work's going good. This is my work, part of it anyway. This is part of my job. Playing video games all day. Good times, good vibes all around. I missed. Okay, I'm wandering in circles. Yes, I'm wandering in circles. So, I should probably... Okay, do we want to start a farm or do we want to start a mine? Which one are we feeling, chat? Farm or mine? Because they're both useful. So I have to figure out which useful thing I would like to make. I kind of want to kill a squid. I want to kill a squid. Probably a farm. Die. I did it! I killed him. He's dead. Okay, a farm. Good source is food. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna get a farm going. I only have melons and wheat. Because I haven't found a village. I didn't get lucky this time. But melon and wheat is pretty good. I can work with that. I can work with melons and wheat. Especially wheat. I didn't like that. Just gonna get some more seeds here. Why is none of this dropping? I got two. Where's all the seeds? There's one. Plus free XP when you harvest. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Okay, so we're gonna work on this farm. Gonna work on the farm. Okay, so we're gonna put it behind the house. I don't have a bucket to put water in. Dang it. I don't have a bucket. What am I supposed to put water in? To like... I guess I can just plant stuff around. I'll just plant stuff around here for now. Because I can't make a real farm. But I'll grow stuff. No, I need more cobblestone. So make a hoe. Making a hoe. I'll just build it around this here because... Okay. Yay! I did it. Okay, I can put one more. One more. Okay, so... I got some Wheaties. Can you guys, like, go anywhere else? Like, don't spit at me. Don't you do it. He thought about it. Ah! I can fix that, I can just make the game screen a little bit smaller, Shelb. She has let me know that the cloud covers up my toolbar, which it does, which is not very poggers. So, I will edit the size of my game screen after today, and I will get that situated for all of you lovely soft moths out there. Okay. Why is this one not? Okay, anyway. No, you're good. Okay, so I need watermelon, but you have to put it here to get seeds. Okay. No. Trying to sneak in here. Rude. Got some melon seeds. There's a piggy. Melon. Nope. Melon. I don't know how you're supposed to plant melon. I know there's like they have some space around them to grow, so we'll just see which ones grow and which ones don't, and then we'll go from there. So now we're gonna kill some cows. I thought I heard a creeper. We're gonna kill some cows so I can get some leather, hopefully. Hopefully I can get some leather from these boys. Die. I'm not gonna kill all of them though, because eventually I want to like breed them, you know? So we're not gonna kill all the cows. We're gonna save 2 of the cows, obviously, so we can breed them for meat. But for now, oh my god, I cannot. Okay. I want to try and kill this one with an axe. Aha! So you have to get it on the downswing. Okay. How much do I have? I've 2. I have 2 leather. The actual hack. There we go. That's very efficient. My cousin taught me that, actually. I have to face him. Thank you for coming, Shelb. I hope everything's okay. But thank you. Have a good one. I'm sure I'll talk to you later. Everyone say bye, Socks. That's my mod. I love her. She's good. Okay, I need to put some torches back up in here. Here, 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 and there. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. So, I actually think we're gonna wrap it up here. I got a lot done. So I'm just gonna delete that prediction because it's just not gonna, yeah, delete and return points. Okay. So. Save and quit. Alrighty, guys. Quit. That was a good stream. I'm glad to be back. I missed you guys. I'm tired. I had a lot of fun, and I appreciate everybody coming out. We made some new friends. We saw some old friends. We love seeing old friends and making new ones. So I'm going to go ahead and see who we're going to raid. Y'all give me 1 second. I'm thirsty. So we're going to see who we're going to raid. Come over here to my other screen. Okay, so I know who we're gonna raid. Y'all bear with me. We're gonna get it going. This is so bright. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for coming out. I love and appreciate all of you. Sorry this past week has been so crazy and I haven't been streaming. It's just been a mess. But I should be back on track now. So I am off tomorrow, but I'll be back on Wednesday. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and raid it out to Peachy Saiyan. She is somebody I've been following since day 1 of my journey. She's been so supportive and I love her. So we're going to go ahead and raid it on out to her. You guys, if you stick around for the raid, you do get more mothballs. So make sure you stick around. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, guys.
Video, but yeah, thank y'all so much. Like, this is the most comments I've ever gotten in a YouTube video, and it makes me want to cry. Like, thank you so much for showing this video so much love. I really appreciate it. It's just me going through a banner quest. It's pretty silly.